Hey. So, first up we'll hear from our comm boards. First is Waipapa, and I'd like to welcome Sunita and Simon to the table, please. Welcome.
Kia ora, good morning everyone. First I would like to wish all of you Happy Holi, a festival of colours. It's today. So may the colours bring light, happiness and health to all of your lives. It's my first time, so be nice to me. Proud to be here representing our community board with Simon. To start with, I've got deputation which we had regarding Phillipstown Hub. Brian Gilchrist from Phillipstown Community Centre Charitable Trust presented to us about MOE disposal, and Wayne Hawker also talked about the same item. Alison Alsop was there to talk about Emberley Crescent and Edgware Road, Springfield Road pedestrian safety improvements, and Miriam O'Connor was also there to talk about the same item.
As I mentioned last month, Summer with Your Neighbour started as Neighbourhood Week back in 1998 under the Shirley Papanui Community Board and is now extended citywide and summer-wide. Recent events in our community have included the annual Avebury House Teddy Bears Picnic with around 80 under-5s and their caregivers and their teddy bears in attendance. The Marilameda Charitable Trust, based up in Redwood, held a gathering as a thank you to their volunteers, and the Saraband Ave community held their annual barbecue lunch.
One of the extreme pleasure of this job is to go and celebrate our Tamariki. So I have got privileged on 21st of November to present an award to Pariwawa Banks Avenue School to Alex for their outstanding community spirit and school hearts. And on 11th of December, I presented an award at Casebrook Intermediate to John, who was recognized for exceptional community spirit as well. Additionally, a dancers group, also Euphoria, and Ann Lee Dance Group was supported by our community board.
Over summer, our governance team, in partnership with the Waimario board, supported Papanui Youth Development Trust in their annual pool party at Jelly Park, featuring hydro slides, a manu competition, DJ and sausage sizzle. And we also celebrated the first anniversary of Little Poland Park and acknowledged it's now 81 years since the arrival of the Polish children of Pahiatua, 107 years since of Poland's independence. We launched at that celebration consultation on further landscaping at the park, and we've got a report coming to next week's meeting with a recommended plan.
Just before Christmas last year, Charleston Neighbourhood Association held their end-of-year celebration, and I was fortunate enough to join with them and celebrate. It's a lovely community out there in Charleston group, and I commend their commitment to Mahi, what they do. Next is that we had a petition in December from Edgware Village Business Community about the safety reported begging and antisocial behaviour in Edgware Village. Board invited local businesses and community organisations on 23rd of February with a representative of police, council advisor and city mission outreach work. This meeting provided the opportunity to discuss the report, behaviours in village, and to explore solution to address the issue. As an outcome, police are providing business owner with advice and crime prevention in the area, and an information campaign is not giving money to people who are begging. Please spread the word in other communities as well. Thank you.
Acknowledging our governance team who consistently put time and energy into supporting Children's Day each year, and to all of those volunteers and supporters involved in running the day. So it runs on the first Sunday in March each year, and this past weekend it was a day of two halves. Around 8,000 families attending and participating, and a great first couple of hours before the rains came down.
Community board plan and annual plan is up for consultation. So we also had community liaison hui on 4th of December, where we had an opportunity for board to connect with our local community and was a platform to contribute their ideas. So I commend staff work on that day of really workshopping it so well that community engagement was quite uplifted. And so, as I earlier mentioned, that the plan is up for consultation through libraries at the moment and through the bubble tool we have. Now, Mihinoi, thank you.
Thank you very much. It's always good to hear from you, and thanks for making the effort to come in. Good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Spraden Cashmere Heathcote, Kia and Sophie, please.
Good morning, kia ora. I'm Keir Leslie, I'm the Community Board Chair, and it is my pleasure to introduce Sophie Bond, who is our new Deputy Chair and Community Board Member for Spraden, who's joining us for the first time today. Yeah. So, we have a couple of things to talk about today, but I think the first one, and one which is a decision for you to make, is around the Part A on the Cashmere Penruddock roundabout. There will probably be a range of views on some of the design choices on that roundabout. There certainly were at the community board, and there was a vote and an outcome, and I'm presenting the board's view today, not my own. So the outcome was a roundabout that included speed bumps on all the entrances and exits, and that was option 2 in the report. The Part A decision that is in front of you folks today is around the cycle lanes. I think it's quite important that the two things are held a bit separate. That there was one decision, and then this is now around that cycle lane decision. And I'm sure Councillor Scandrick can speak a bit further to that one if he wants to when we get there. Sophie,
I'll
do you want
speak
to talk
to
about
the Sumner Beach access ramp. So last week we received an update that construction of a replacement ramp really will start in May. So this is on Mariner Street where you already have disabled parking. The idea is to greatly improve this ramp so that it meets accessibility standards. The genesis of this was the Sumner Community Residents Association and the Scarborough Dippers, and has huge support from Disabled People's Assembly and the Coastal Pathway Group, and obviously it will just be a huge asset for anyone who's struggling with arm loads of boogie boards or a pram or is a wheelchair user.
Obviously, we had some quite major weather recently. I'm sure, obviously, the Banks Peninsula Community Board will talk a lot more about that and how that affected them. But we just wanted to obviously bring to the council's attention that the impacts that's been through in the Apawaho catchment. It was really pleasing to see that even though we had roads flooding, we haven't seen any houses flooded, and that shows that those drainage and retention work has really made a difference to that catchment. We probably are going to continue to see those roads and those terraces floods. They are natural floodplains. That is a reality that I think we have to live with and we have to plan for. One thing that has come up a lot since the flooding has been the ongoing discoloration, that kind of muddy brown coffee is probably the polite way to phrase it, colour of the river. The underlying driver of that, as I'm sure people are aware, is that Lua's runoff coming off the Port Hills. And one of the things that is sitting in our board plan, and I'd encourage people to go have a look, and if anyone following along would like to make a submission, please go ahead and do so, is looking at that whole catchment, how we can look at from the Port Hills all the way through to the estuary, because we know that it's all one system, and what happens up on the hills has a real impact on what happens through the river. And finally, we've had a really great summer of events across the board area. One of the ones I'd love to give a particular shout out to is House of Hopes, which was down across a couple of places, but in Addington, and it's really cool just to see that that community energy and that just that youth-led excitement coming to our communities. That was really cool. Will Hall would be mad at me if I didn't mention the T20 Summer Smash, which was a rebuild, a fundraiser for the rebuild of the Sumner Pavilion. And I know Will was really gutted that he didn't get the call up to go out and pad up, and I think instead has been encouraged to get in touch when they move on to the Dancing with the Stars option. So yeah, happy to take any questions.
Pauline, yes, please.
Just reading your report, you didn't mention the river raft race coming up this weekend, is it?
No, if you would like to get in touch and jump on a raft, we
I'm
can.
building one out of my egg cartons. Looks great. This is the first time since 2010.
Yeah. No, that's really exciting, and look, shows the connection people across the Board area have with the river and how passionate they are about it.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, Tim. Yeah.
Just a couple of things that, as Kia and Sophie mentioned with regards to there were no flooding of houses, and I think that our board worked so hard with the staff to get the retention basins, etc. One which has been recognised worldwide, but that was a long journey and a hard slog, but it's working and it's fantastic. The other one is all of our communities, both Spraydon, Cashmere and some of the Redcliffs, Waltham, etc. The increase in housing is affecting those communities who people drive through, and I think that the Penruddock roundabout has been a long journey. I do have a notice of motion to come to the community board about a couple of things, but it's just one of those things that is needed, and I think that it's not just our communities, right through Christchurch. These things will be coming to the forefront more and more to other communities as well. So I would just want to thank the community board for the work we did on that.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you very much. Okay, so we now have Fennelton, Waimari Harewood, Jason and Marianne, please. Morning.
Good morning, everybody. The second edition of the very successful Avonhead Russley Community Directory is now live online. The directory provides information on the wide range of activities and programs available in our area. On the 21st of February, a community expo was held at the Avonhead Community Trust. This free event was open to all and provided an opportunity for groups featured in the directory to come along and share information on their activities with the local community. Although it wasn't the best weather, approximately 700 people turned up to the Belfast Fresh event at Sheldon Park, hosted by the Belfast Community Network. The young people who attended enjoyed the free hair braids, barber cuts, basketball competition, crazy bikes and lots more. There was still a brave few who plunged into the pool for a swim and pool-related games. A huge vote of thanks to the Belfast Community Network along with the team from YCD for putting on such a great local event. Our board was pleased to be able to support this event with some funding from our discretionary response fund. After a lot of initial great work from council staff and local residents, the Friends of Nepal Reserve Group has now been established to continue the guardianship of this local reserve. The group is being led by local Burnside resident and environmental science student, Bula Prag. She is very passionate about the reserve and will bring great leadership to the group. They held their first working bee in early February, where local residents, including a number of children, came along to weed the newly planted areas at the reserve. The group was over the moon that we were able to assist them to purchase a number of gardening gloves that will be made available to the volunteers who attend the working bees. I'm sure most of you are aware of Council's Computers to the Community scheme. The scheme is administered by the local community governance team at Fennelton and distributes ex-council desktops and laptops to not-for-profit community groups across the city. This is a great example of cross-unit partnerships within council, with the IT unit preparing the devices for disposal and the local governance team staff receiving and assessing requests from the community and arranging the pickups. Over the past 12 months, 551 computers have been given out to a range of groups. The most recent recipients include Riccarton Knights Rugby League, Community Development Network Trust, Canterbury Softball and Esports Otatahi. The team has also recently been given other devices including TV screens and cell phones. These are being snapped up very quickly by groups. The feedback continues to highlight how valuable this scheme is, as funding for these types of devices can be very difficult to obtain. Finally, like all the boards, we've been workshopping our draft priorities for our new community board plan. These are now available for community feedback, and we look forward to hearing the views of our local residents on our proposed priorities. Thank you very much.
Oh, you got all this time. Any questions? You've done a fantastic job. Thank you very much for coming in. Good to see you. Okay. Horse will Hornby Rickerton. Marie and Sarah, please.
Right, so apologies from my deputy chair, Sarah. So I've got our governance manager with me, Bailey Peterson.
Excellent.
So kia ora, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to present the report of the Waipuna Holswell Hornby Rickerton Community Board. I'll be giving you first updates of some of our upcoming and ongoing projects. First up is the Whakata Templeton Cemetery. The Whakata Christchurch Cemetery concept plan outlines the proposed development of a new cemetery at Templeton to meet Christchurch's future burial capacity needs and fulfill the council's statutory obligations. The plan provides staged development, landscape buffering, culturally inclusive burial areas, and supporting facilities, while seeking to manage impacts on nearby residents and the adjacent quarry. Now, council staff recommended approval of an amended concept plan that responded to community feedback by increasing separation from residential properties and retaining the proposed staging sequence. However, at its meeting on the 10th of February, 2026, the community board resolved to lay the report on the table and requested staff to investigate and prepare a concept plan that would provide for the area identified as stage 2 to be developed first. So we are probably expecting it to come back to the board in 12 to 18 months, and then it'll come to council as a Part A report. Now, the second topic is the Amy's, Awatea, and Springs Road intersections. This project considers safety improvements at the Amy's Springs Road and Awatea Springs Road intersections. Since 2024, the community board has been briefed on upgrade options, with community engagement confirming significant concerns about dangerous right turns, pedestrian and cyclist safety, and congestion. At the February 2026 workshop, staff presented two options. One is do minimum option. This is to install traffic signals at both intersections with undergrounding of power lines and limited curb, stormwater, and footpath works, no full road renewal. The option one was the signals plus the full carriageway, curb and channel, footpath renewal, stormwater improvements, landscaping, and better cycle separation. Now, several road assets are near end of life. Delivering renewals later could increase total costs to around 6.6 million if done in stages. The current funding that we have for this project is insufficient, so additional funding would be required through the long-term plan if the project is prioritized. Staff will continue detailed design, while the board will continue to advocate for the funding for this project through the long-term plan. Now, the Hayton-Wigram intersection construction is another update. The council approved intersection improvements for the Wigram-Hayton Road intersection, and while this has temporary impact in causing delays for our community, this upgrade is to meet the needs of our growing community and the new facilities in the area. The work involves replacing the existing three-way priority controlled intersection with a four-way signalized intersection. The existing access to Ngapunawai Sports Hub via the Christchurch Southern Motorway will be sealed and connected to the signalized intersection, and a new shared path will be provided on the northern side of Wigram Road, connecting to the Little River Link Cycleway. Work is underway and is expected to take 3 months. The board looks forward to seeing this works complete and the impact it will have on the surrounding areas. Now, update on the draft Community Board Plan 2026 to 28. The Community Board has developed its draft Community Board Plan for the term. As part of the development of the plan, the community board heard from our community who presented their updated community visions, one each for Halswell, Hornby, and Rickerton. The draft plan includes a range of transport, facility, and well-being related priorities, and we look forward to hearing the community feedback on this once the consultation period is finished. Now, Fresh Pool Party in Matatiki. A lively Matatiki pool party was held on January 23rd, bringing together young people from across the community for an evening filled with fun, connection, and positive vibes. Delivered by Youth and Cultural Development, the event's success demonstrates the importance of youth-centered initiatives and the meaningful contribution they make to the broader community. We have Summer with Your Neighbors. I think everybody has that. We've also got House of Hoops in Rickerton, and delivered by the Youth and Cultural Development. And we've also got the Authentic Fijian Food and Recipes Project, which, was received off-the-ground funding towards their project. And then we have last summer community partnership rangers collaborated with local groups on a variety of community activities in our community parks. Thank you. I think I have run out of time there. All good?
Wonderful. Yanni, please.
Yeah, thank you. I know there's a number of intersections and speed limit changes that you're considering in the southwest area. I was just wondering if there's any information we can get on the southwest area plan implementation. Like, is there because I see there's also been a proposal for some sort of new roading infrastructure.
So you're asking for an update on the implementation of the Southwest Area Plan, which was adopted by Council in 2009?
Yeah, and I'm just wondering if the community board is monitoring that plan and how the different projects are aligned to it.
We do. We do.
Probably beyond the scope of the board's presentation, because it wasn't covered in the board's presentation.
Like, if you look in the report, there's the speed limit changes, there's
not in their presentation.
road. There was, in the presentation,
It was
there's
the
intersection
Wigram-Hayton
improvements.
intersection
Yeah.
specific.
Yeah.
So the
That's
local, the
separate.
local councillor, I believe, has offered to talk to you about it. So that's probably the first port of call.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Marie.
Right.
Okey-dokey. So now we've got Paul and Jackie from Coastal Burwood Linwood, please.
I'll just climb onto my chair. I'll need a ladder if they get me high. Morena, councillors. I got the feel-good stories this week. I'd like to start with saying kia ora e te whānau and just reminding us all that as elected members, we are all elected to work together to further the good of our city. Okay, so the Linwood Waterway Group have teamed up with artist Nick Lowry and the Te Aratai College Year 8 students to create a mural along the drain in Linwood. These initiatives increase our local participation in coming for our environment, and I'm reading the wrong one. No, I'm not the right one. Good. Go back. See, I'm not used to doing it from this end now. I'm confused. It's like, seriously, here we go. Back to the beginning. The Te Haiato Kuaka New Brighton Village Green was opened on Sunday, 21st of December. They've welcomed their first businesses, and this is a vibrant mix of wellbeing, food, creativity, and local character that's coming alive just off Marine Parade near the New Brighton Pier. So it'd be good if you're out that way to check it out. Village Green. All right, yeah, the Linwood Waterway, we did that one. Here we go. And we had some pretty revolting weather for the kite day, not our usual sunny brilliance. But it was still a great crowd down in New Brighton Beach, and there were plenty of buskers available there with music, acrobatics, juggling and comedy. So those are the feel-good things for Waitai this month. Thank you.
Brings us to our advocacy section. Wastewater treatment plant. It stinks.
Still
you all
stinks.
know it. I estimate about 2,000 people are affected all the time. and probably about 5,000 regularly, and then there's all the people who are affected when it spikes. It's a chronic problem with acute spikes. It's excellent that we have Gary in his new role, and we're grateful for the work that he's already done with our local team, and I can't speak highly enough of him or our local team. We do support investigating anything that could reduce the load on the ponds, with the caveat that it cannot end in solids being washed up on the beach, nor in environmental damage, and it cannot create another problem downstream. We're also concerned that the rapid drop in temperatures that we've seen recently with a lot of rain is also going to lead to another spike in hydrogen sulfide. So I hope that we are prepared for that eventuality. And just a flag for the annual plan, we're sure that this, we're consulting on it now, but we're sure that this meets with the hopes of our community. There's lots of work to do to regenerate around the Eastgate Linwood area. Lots of small wins are possible, but this one is a big one. We cannot rely on the mall, on Eastgate Mall, to lead the development. It's been a generation and it hasn't been successful. We cannot rely on private landholders and businesses to do this. We need a public anchor project to lead the revitalisation of this area. And that Smith Street Depot is pretty dated, it's pretty beige, and it's underutilised, and we'd be excited to see what we could come up with. Happy to take any questions if you have any.
Okay, wonderful, thank you. Anyone? Yanni, please.
Thanks. Just in regards to the wastewater treatment plant, in terms of the board's involvement in that going forward, would you expect to be briefed on the proposal?
Of course we'd like to be briefed on the proposal. Yeah, that would seem to be a normal part of the process.
And do you think, I mean, just sort of reflecting on the desire to look at different options, do you think there needs to be additional governance oversight of the response on a more regular basis, e.g. perhaps a working party, perhaps a task force, perhaps some sort of joint structure between council and the community board to be looking at it on a weekly basis, given the impact it's having?
Whatever way, we can find ways of ensuring that there is broad participation and communication, and that it's not going to get in the way of things getting done, then whatever that might be, that sounds good.
Okay, thank you, Yannick. Samuel.
Hey, it was just to say, hey, well done on that public meeting the other week too, Paul. I thought you did a really good job chairing it, and you took a lot of the flak for the community, so appreciate it.
Yeah, very good. It was well done.
No worries. It was
Okay,
a good time
thank you.
for all.
Thank you very much. Good to see you. Okay, so last but certainly not least, we have Lynn and her deputy chair. Nigel. Yes, this is Nigel's first time sitting there, I believe. So you guys have certainly been through the thick of it in the last month.
We have, and before I get to that, I'll take a moment to introduce my new Deputy Chair, Nigel Miller from Diamond Harbour, Mount Herbert. Having only just been elected on Monday, he's literally diving into the deep end, attending with me today, but I know that you're a friendly bunch, and I have no worries that he'll be a great support to me and Banks Peninsula too. So, welcome Nigel, councillors, Nigel.
Thank you.
All right, next slide. Today we also remember Nigel Harrison, who was born and bred on the peninsula, who gave so much of himself to the community he loved. With a deep passion for history, a knack for antique bottle hunting, and a warm presence at the front desk of the Akaroa Museum, he was also a tireless champion for anything that helped Akaroa and Banks Peninsula thrive. We will miss him dearly. It has been a horrible month for Banks Peninsula, but we have one bright spot with the long-awaited opening of Flora netball courts at Naval Point recently. It was a lovely event, and the crowds were a testament to the real impact Flora made on this community. As I take you through the rest of the presentation, I want you to get a real understanding of the impact of the recent flooding. Next slide, thank you. I believe that when we understand a problem, we start to see how we can help. We become better equipped to be part of the solution. And that's all that I ask for you today, is just to understand. As you can see, there's a very handsome gentleman there on the right who is standing in a big crater our mayor, Phil Major, and to the right is Bernie, who is a local, who's actually standing upright. And he's about, 1'8", 1'9", he's quite tall. So, big gouges. After the 16th February floods, most people outside the area thought, and rightly so, it's just another flood for Little River. But this time it was different. We are still in recovery mode. Most people outside the area thought, we're still in recovery mode. I need to go that. These last weeks have been very reminiscent of the earthquakes. There has been silt, dust, PTSD, and everyone who is unaffected by the flood can't really grasp the impact this has had on us, and it will have on us for months to come. In some places, more than 400 millimetres fell in 24 hours. That's like a lot of water. Torrents from the upper valleys carved channels up to 1.5 metres deep as they pressed down on roads and driveways, leaving slips that threatened homes and disrupted daily life. Lower valleys became flooded channels that carried silt and debris into communities, with the rivers overbanking and moving across land towards the valley, leaving tons of contaminated silt in around homes and on the land itself. Water sources were contaminated, water pumps were destroyed, silt was shin deep in places, and the power and internet services failed. In Little River, 3 homes were red stickered and 2 yellow stickered, underscoring the severity of the damage and the disruption to families and livelihoods. The school was closed for 2 weeks and has just reopened on Monday, and beyond the physical damage, we face the human and logistical challenge of maintaining essential services and safety in the aftermath. Wainui had major damage to their roads and bridges, meaning people didn't have access in or out of the bay for quite some time. Rivers have changed course and ploughed through recreational areas and businesses. Some areas will never be able to be used the same way again. That's Wainui, yeah. The Whakaraupo region had severe inundation at Charteris Bay Golf Club, forcing the closure of Anderson Marine Drive and isolating several bays. Despite the disruption, including cancelled cruise ship visits, urgent medical prescriptions were ferried across to ensure residents could still access essential supplies. The impact extended to Allendale and Teddington, which were completely isolated, with trees down on either side of roads. Power outages affected homes where a snapped power pole along the road to Governor's Bay Jetty interrupted essential services. It was a truly crazy time. And I'd like to finish with 2 things. Firstly, thank you so much to all the council staff and elected members who helped and continue to help with the aftermath. There are too many to name here now. Your efforts, your care for the people, your commitment to Banks Peninsula is invaluable, and it was really felt, so thank you so much. Secondly, this isn't just a Banks Peninsula problem. This is a Christchurch-wide issue and national problem. But for today, in that it will take us all to understand so that there can be change. When the rain's pouring and things get messy, the situation can get complicated, but our jobs still remain simple. Look out for our communities, hear from them, think things through, and make smart, steady decisions around recovery and proactive climate resilience. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Lynn, and very good to see you, Nigel.
Cheers.
Okay, have you got a question, Yanni?
Thank you, and can I just acknowledge what you've been through? We went to Anuku Marae yesterday, so we drove through Little River and saw firsthand some of the impacts, but you've obviously given us a more extensive report. Is there anything that we can do as a council to support your community in terms of resources that would be helpful?
We have some very good working groups already working with flooding mitigation, especially in Wairewa. Our community board is very connected, so I guess taking decisions or including the community in decision making and resourcing is really important. Continuing to support emergency response groups, the hubs that we're establishing around Banks Peninsula, and whatever you can to support elected members, I guess. It's
What about psychosocial support?
oh yes, good point. Psychosocial help as well. Yes, as well. That's a real gap that seems to be missing as far as civil defence. Great, council, great. Now lots of people affected in other complicated ways that need support, and there is, you know, isolation is a big part of Banks Peninsula, and people going to their GP on their own accord may not necessarily be part of the equation. So how do we help those people? Yeah.
One of the things that, thanks Lynn, one of the things that I'm very keen about is for getting more traction on that mechanical solution for
Yes.
getting the water
Mitigation,
out of Lakes Forsyth. I was very impressed with the presentation that came to us, and I understand it's fairly well through the process, but I encourage all our councillors to work towards that, well, when it comes to us on what can happen. And as you know, you and I spend a bit of time tearing up and down very narrow roads. There's thoughts in my head that there's ways I think we can work with the local farmers and maybe have some secondary flow paths in some parts of the district there, and especially in Little River, to alleviate the flooding and I know some people say it was all of the problem was the lake, but I still think it wasn't. It was getting the stuff. There was so much rain, as you said, you cannot plan for that. But to get it from where it was to the lake is one of the issues that needs to be addressed. So I'm working with, I have actually talked to Ian on this one, and I have on the other ones as well, contrary to popular belief. I've talked to Ian about how we can move forward on doing something with looking at parts of that river network to maybe make things better. So
Fantastic.
because last thing, as I said to you there before, I was there last May with the minister. I was there last month with the minister. I do not want to be there in 10 months' time with the minister again, because it's not fair on the people.
No, you're right. Thank you. Thank you for all your help.
Good on you, mate. Thank you.
Cheers.
Okay, so thank you to all our community boards. I am more than happy to move it, and Pauline's more than happy to second it. All those in favour? Aye, thank you. That's passed. So now we get into public forum. We have Stephen Wood here